He was asked by a reporter if he was ever afraid. And he said, deep religious belief eliminates fear. You do what you're called to do because you're called to do it, and you believe you must. He was not deeply religious at the beginning. He learned to have faith, and adversity made him a strong believer. But even then, he was far from perfect. But notice, Abraham was not perfect. Enoch, who God assumed directly into heaven, we aren't told that he was perfect, and you and I are not perfect. Remember, God does not call us to perfection. Nowhere in the letter to the Hebrews do I see our being called to perfection. It calls us to have faith, to believe in the promises of God, to be faithful. Now, let me tell you an unusual story of faithfulness. This is, in 1972, NASA launched this little space probe called Pioneer 10. And Pioneer 10's job was to go to Jupiter, take some pictures and measure some things, and beam the data back to Earth. And space scientists regarded this as a fairly bold plan because we've never sent a satellite that far, never anything beyond Mars. And they were even a little afraid that the asteroid belt would destroy Pioneer 10. But Pioneer 10 got to Mars, and then it got to Jupiter. And it accomplished its mission, and then it kept going, and going, and going. Swinging past Jupiter in November of 1973, Pioneer 10 kept going. At 1 billion miles from the sun, Pioneer 10 passed Saturn, took some pictures, took some more measurements, and it kept going. At 2 billion miles, it passed Uranus, took some more pictures, took some more measurements. At around 3 billion miles, it passed Neptune. At almost 4 billion miles, it passed Pluto. In 1997, 25 years after it was launched, Pioneer 10 was more than 6 billion miles from the sun. And despite that immense distance, it continued to radio back signals to NASA scientists here on Earth. Now, what may be most remarkable is that those signals come from an 8-watt radio transmitter, which is about as much power as is emitted from these girls' nightlight. 8 watts. You can't do anything with 8 watts, what Pioneer 10 did. Pioneer 10 did. That signal takes more than 9 hours now to reach the Earth. The little satellite that could was not qualified to do what it did. Engineers designed Pioneer 10 to have a service life of 3 years, but it just wouldn't stop. By simple longevity, its 8-watt transmitter accomplished far more than anyone thought it could. And so it is when we offer ourselves to God's will. You don't know what he can do through you. But God can't do anything with us if we quit, if we walk away. Now, we're never told, really, about Abraham's abilities. We're only shown his faithfulness. You and I have been through the worst natural disaster in American history. The anniversary is coming up at the end of the month. We're just getting through the worst ecological disaster in American history, and it's going to take years for us to clean this up. We're in the middle of the worst economy in 80 years. So what? We keep going. We accomplish our mission by being faithful. We say our prayers. We keep our eyes on the mission that God's given us to do, and we'll get through it. We will get through this. Now, Trinity Church has never been known as one of the larger parishes in the diocese. It's not been known as being the wealthiest parish in the diocese, but we have some money, thank God. But we can be known for being one of the most faithful. And if you want to store up treasure in heaven, this is a good thing to work with. Being faithful, doing what you're called to do. Whether you've got 8 watts of talent or 1,000. It doesn't matter. Being faithful is what matters. So lay up that treasure in heaven. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.